SMT Nation, we back. Nation, as all of you know, well documented here on my channel and across many media outlets across the country. AT&T had a pretty large network outage that impacted quite a few folks, millions of folks, I'm sure. And AT&T went out of their way to go ahead and credit some of the customers that were impacted by this. Notice I said some of them and not all of them. We'll kind of discuss some of that here in today's video, and then we'll try to kind of quantify how much this incident actually ended up costing AT&T and how I'm going to make sure that we understand and keep this one thing in perspective. There are certain things we cannot quantify in this number. All right, let's discuss that here in today's video. The placeholder article from CNN.com will be provided as a link in the description. Ways to support us can be found there as well. All right, so what AT&T ultimately ended up doing was providing bill credits to impacted customers, due to this network outage. The way that they did this was certain accounts, certain types of customers were issued a $5 apology credit to their accounts. Again, I don't know. In some instances, maybe some folks got more. Maybe they got $5 a line. Maybe they got $30 or $40 for their account. But what's important to note is that not all accounts got the credit. Some folks did and some didn't. So if you were a prepaid customer, Cricket customer, a business customer, apparently they weren't given credits for that. If you were able to get one, bravo, good for you. But officially they weren't supporting that. All right, so a $5 credit was applied to somewhere in the neighborhood of like 28 million postpaid accounts. If that's the number we're using, then you're looking at about $140 million in impacted credits. The number might be less, it might be more. We don't know the exact number just based on some of the speculative, terms of all this. But what we do know is the network outage was large. It impacted a lot of people across the country, from FirstNet, first responders, and agencies, and businesses, and consumers were down for 8 to 20 hours. I don't know. There's some people said they were impacted through the entire day. Right? So that being the case, $5 for that entire outage, it's never gonna satisfy the customer. The customer obviously feels devalued. It probably leaves them thinking or having a bad taste in their mouth that AT&T is so cheap they're only willing to give me $5. But that's kind of the way this is going, and that's what it's going to be. So $140 million spent in bill credits. I mean, that's not the only way that this can be calculated. What about the folks that actually end up leaving? Those customers, which we're not going to know the details until April, when we get the quarterly earnings and the questions are asked to the CEO, to the CFO, Pascal and John Stankey and those guys. The questions are going to come in. How much can you quantify the outage? How much did it set you guys back? Well, is there going to be a churn bubble? Are we going to see a churn spike? Consumer, prepaid, business, FirstNet. Those things we're not going to know until April. But as of right now, you can go ahead and pencil it in somewhere around $140 million of a snafu that occurred. And according to AT&T, they said it was a failure in process or application. I don't know. I'm sure that investigation is ongoing, and that's all we know for now. But that's what we got for you guys here in this video. What's your thoughts and opinions on that number? $140 million in bill credits. Again, we still won't know the total cost of this little snafu, this very large one, in April. And we'll see if we get those disclosures from AT&T themselves. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.